Welcome to the Permaculture Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Mann. Today's episode is a little different. After years of recording in Northern Virginia, a few miles from the White House, and surrounded by a dense urban environment and mid-Atlantic humidity that could double as a sauna, the podcast is packing up its apartment studio and our family life and heading northwest to Cleveland, Ohio. We're leaving Virginia to the land of rock and roll, deep snow, and the echoes of the American industrial age. When I first started recording, back when I was living in Pennsylvania, the podcast was something deeply rooted in the space I was in. A backyard that flooded, front yard gardens, and local farmers markets. We were talking about rain barrels, the basics of permaculture, and the people who could help us deepen our understanding of what permaculture was at the time and how to develop it on a site we might call a homestead, whether we were living in an apartment or miles from a city. The longer I've been doing this, the clearer it's become. Permaculture isn't just about where we live. It requires a sense of place, yes, but it's also informed by so much more, including how we live, together, across places, climates, and cultures. Cleveland, if you can believe it, is a city that's redefining what permaculture can mean in an urban, post-industrial landscape. A place once made famous for catching its river on fire, Cleveland decided to build one of the nation's most ambitious environmental recoveries. That's the kind of transformation we need when the temperatures are rising and it feels like the world, not just a waterway, is inflammable. So my family and I are moving from a land where you can still find a good glass of sweet tea alongside sweltering summers, to a city built on resilience, reinvention, and the maritime winds of Lake Erie. With this move comes a new phase for the podcast. In Cleveland, I'll be looking at how to implement permaculture where most people live, in cities, by diving deeper into the techniques, principles, and personal stories of urban permaculture, rewilding riverfronts, renewable energy, and community-led movements. As my youngest son, who is currently a toddler, gets older, we'll get back to interviews with people who are turning lots into gardens, abandoned buildings into community centers, and climate anxiety into collective action, with my neighbors in Cleveland and with others around the world, while continuing to answer your questions and share news about permaculture from as many societies, climates, and cultures as we can. Permaculture isn't a single way of being. It's a living, integrated system, a network of choices and challenges as individuals, families, and members of communities that stretch from city centers to the rainforests of South America, the karst topography of Asia, and the deserts of North Africa and beyond. In moving, I'm going to miss the many farmers markets, ability to walk to well-known, familiar restaurants, and my neighbors who don't mind being given the key to our apartment to visit our cat if we're away for a weekend. But change is part of permaculture. It allows us to find growth, movement, and adaptation in the world that is never static and always in flux. So as I set up the new studio in Cleveland, while unpacking boxes, setting up a different home with my family, and making new friends, I want to say thank you to everyone who's listened from Virginia and beyond. This next chapter isn't just about a new place, it's about seeing what new roots the Permaculture Podcast can set down and what the show can be somewhere new, talking about permaculture in theory and seeing it rebuilt, brick by brick, in the years to come. So stick around and stay in touch. The journey's just beginning, and there are so many more stories to tell. I look forward to talking with you again soon by the lake. While we work on this transition, feel free to get in touch with me by sending an email to show@thepermaculturepodcast.com, visiting thepermaculturepodcast.com and clicking on contact to send me a direct message. Or you can also text or send me a message on WhatsApp, +1 717 827 6266. Until the next time, spend each day finding your place, somewhere new or somewhere old, while taking care of Earth, yourself, and each other.